It is winter in southern Africa. We decided to go north on an overland trip through some of the most remote game reserves in southern Africa. Central Kalahari in the north of Botswana, Mabuasehube in the south, and then the Transfrontier Park in South Africa. We were a group of 3 off-road 4x4 vehicles. 2 of the vehicles were towing a bush caravan. Early Monday morning we passed through the Stockport and Paris Halt border posts without any hassles. It is a long drive to our first overnight campsite. Enjoying luxuries like toilets and warm showers that will be missed over the next few weeks. The next morning we drive to the northeastern entrance of the Central Kalahari Game Reserve. It is a rough road, with a lot of powder dust, and holes where vehicles got stuck during the rainy season. We stop to lower our tire pressures to ensure that we don't get stuck. It is less than 50 kilometers from our campsite, but it took us 2.5 hours to reach the gate. Inside the reserve we drive for another 2 hours to cover the 37 kilometers to our campsite. More rough roads, and not a lot of animals to be seen. The campsite is spacious with several thorn trees for shade. No water though, something we will get used to over the next few days. Everyone unpacks their camping equipment. Enough drinks for the almost 3 weeks that lay ahead. Every day we challenge each other to prepare a sufficient amount of firewood. Nothing compares to homemade dishes on an open fire in the bush. After enjoying our first night in the real bush, we drove to this waterhole which attracted a few large animals. It is nearly 100 kilometers to our next campsite. On the way we see a lot of wildlife, birds and smaller mammals. Piper Pan has water, and it is clear that many animals come here to drink. No trees with shade at the campsite this time of the year. Shower cubicle with no water, and a long drop toilet with a lack of perfume. Early the next morning, we go to explore the wildlife at the waterhole. Lots of activity, with lots to see. The raptors are getting ready for the day's hunting. Late afternoon, we get a nice surprise visit by a small pride of lions. This is one of our favorite destinations. We say goodbye to Piper Pan, and drive the 70 kilometers to the Kgalagadi gate. It is a difficult road with a lot of sand, bumps, and shrubs with thorny branches very close to the road. It takes us 6 hours, which includes changing a damaged tire along the way. Not the most convenient place to do so. We spend only one night here, but see wildlife that we have not seen elsewhere in the reserve. The first 70 kilometers to reach the main road to Kgalagadi is certainly the most difficult to date. Very thick sand, bigger corrugated bumps, and difficult to decide what side of the road to use. Eventually we reach Symphonia Lodge, just outside Kgalagadi. Very nice campsite, with excellent ablutions and facilities. From Kgalagadi we drive along the very good main road to Kam, and from there to Rukunzi. The last 50 kilometers is a sandy gravel road, but not as bad as what we expected. We arrive a day early, but find a site next to the entrance gate. There is no water on our way to our campsite at Mabuasehube, and we see very little wildlife. Here is even less shade than what we had at Piper Pan. This pen has water. Another nice surprise to see this leopard, so close, in the middle of the day. But that is not all. A unique sighting, to see 5 different raptor species, having a drink together. This pan with its very active bird life is only the second pan that we see with water. Back at our campsite, we get a chance to use the Starlink satellite technology to manage our businesses remotely and contact loved ones far away. We also get time to play a few board games in the wild. It is time for our biggest challenge with the bush caravans. We knew up front that the crossing to the Transfrontier Park will be tough, with thick sand and dunes. The first part to reach the midway campsite is at Walk in the Park. The 95 kilometers on the second day is a different story. This dune proved to beat our first attempt, despite the enthusiastic support from the front vehicle. With more speed and momentum, we tackle the dune via a different road and make it. The last vehicle, also with a bush caravan, used this experience to make sure they clear the dune easily. Our best campsite is definitely this premium campsite at Nasib. We have our own ablution with toilets, warm water, and a kitchen. The roads are slightly corrugated. Although we have to drive further, we see more wildlife. Last night of an unforgettable 3 weeks in the wilderness. Until next time.